Welcome again to the second ARTICnetwork and CLIMB-BIG-DATA joint workshop on sequencing and analysis of SARS-CoV-2. This is a collaboration taking various projects, CLIMB-BIG-DATA, which is a cloud infrastructure for the analysis of microbial sequence data hosted in the UK, of which more later. This is building on a lot of expertise developed over the last year and a half, analyzing SARS-CoV-2 genomes. Andrew already mentioned the COG-UK project, and in the UK, we have sequenced over 650,000 genomes. And so during that time, we've learned a bit about how to do it. And also the ARTICnetwork, which is a Wellcome Trust funded award to help build methods and tools and help with capacity building globally for genomic surveillance of all pathogens. This came out of work on Ebola virus, particularly in West Africa and in DRC, but it is a general platform in order to help countries deploy genomic surveillance more easily. And this project is end-to-end, and like this workshop is end-to-end, we're thinking about everything from sample collection and sample preparation through to generating a sequencing library and how to actually effectively sequence those genomes, through to the initial bioinformatics handling, and then how you analyze that data in terms of real-time actionable information, the types of molecular epidemiology studies that Andrew just presented, sharing data, visualizing, interpreting data, and with the idea that genomics should be something that contributes to public health interventions, whether that's at local, small scales in outbreaks or international scales in pandemics like SARS-CoV-2. So we will talk much more about this as we get on today, but just to alert you to the fact that if you're not aware of the ARTIC project, this is a collaborative project that aims to put its resources up in an open source fashion and react quickly, and Josh will be talking about that shortly. But we have a large number of resources in terms of how to set up a sequencing lab, how to generate sequencing results, how to set up laptops for local bioinformatics, analyzing phylogenetic data, etc., etc. So I encourage you to go and look at those resources if you have not seen them, but we'll introduce some of them this morning. So how does this workshop work? Well, clearly, as a result of COVID, it's not currently practical to host physical workshops in person, although it would be very nice to be able to do that. And so we have devised a slightly new format of virtual workshops, a mixture of talks like these, also with some Q&A and panel discussions. And also, I think a nice feature is that we have a set of practical exercises, homework if you like, that I will introduce at the end of today's session that you can do in your own time, either later today, overnight, or at your leisure, but resources to try and recapitulate and try and reinforce the information that we've given you in the workshops. And all of this material will stay online in perpetuity. If you want to look at it later, or you want to alert your colleagues to its availability, we would certainly encourage that. It's great to see so many of you here. We have over 150 participants for this workshop from over 51 countries, which is depicted on the map here, which is just wonderful. We can obviously chat with each other when the talks are going on in the Zoom chat, but to aid networking when the meetings are not live, we also have our own Slack channel which you can join. There's an invitation link to let you join the Slack on the course website, which you will have in your email. And that's just a great way of networking, asking us questions, and hopefully meeting other people and building a network of people that are interested in genomic surveillance. Okay, so if you are on Twitter, you'll know what a hashtag is, and you can use ARTIC Workshop to tweet your feedback about the course and joining the conversation there. If you don't know Twitter, I feel like it's an extremely useful platform for scientists to be aware of. I am reluctantly recommending it to you as a great way of finding out about the latest advances in terms of new manuscripts on preprint servers, blog posts, interesting resources, latest news about SARS-CoV-2. I say reluctantly because I found that it can be an extremely large time sink. You can spend an awful amount of time on Twitter, and occasionally has its less pleasant sides as well. So completely optional, but if you're not on Twitter, you probably found out about this conference from Twitter, but if you haven't, then probably worth looking at. Okay, so let's get on with the program. We've got 3 sessions. We're halfway through the middle of the first session. Andrew's spoken already. Next up, we're going to have a talk from Josh, and then there are going to be 2 pre-recorded talks from Will and Matt talking about the bioinformatics pipelines, and we'll finish up with some Q&A. In the afternoon, we have 2 new talks for this workshop. We have one from Jared Simpson and one from Chris Quince live, and a pre-recorded talk from Nabil. Just to draw your attention to the fact that we've swapped around that the first 2 talks there. Jared and Nabil have swapped around. So Nabil will start at 1 and Jared will start at 1:30. We'll then have a discussion and I will set some of the homework. And finally, tomorrow morning, we will be focused on phylogenetics, the practical side of genomic epidemiology, and we will be thinking about new variants. How do we find them? How do we define them? That's a new talk from Natalie Groves. Just to summarize, before we get on with Josh's talk, all of this is going to be recorded, so don't panic. You can watch it again on the website if you missed something. Please do ask questions on Slack between sessions. Definitely ask questions in Zoom chat. If you want to say something out loud, please do. Just raise your hand and I'll bring you in, and just try to remain muted while the presentations are on. So, this is it. We can't teach you everything in a single day or 2 days. And perhaps we can't even teach you that much, but hopefully what we can do is introduce you to some new ideas, some new methods, some useful pieces of software, and probably even more importantly, help introduce a new network of potential colleagues, collaborators, and friends